We belong to one another. Father Mermier on community. Father Peter Mermier, the founder of the MS-05 and SEC, was a man of vision and deep faith. Among his many convictions, one stands out clearly: the importance of community. For him, community was not simply living together under one roof. It was the very heartbeat of the mission, the strength of the congregation, and the visible sign of God's love at work. Today, let us reflect together. What does Father Mermier say about community? The first point for our reflection today: the first community, simplicity and zeal. At La Roche, from 1834 to 1838, the first missionaries lived as true brotherhood. A witness describes it this way: there reigned between the members a sincere cordiality, simplicity, and modesty, cementing their unity. Their spirit of zeal animated their activities and they shared all their experiences. They prayed together, meditated together, and read together, and listened to Father Mermier's weekly conferences. This was the seedbed of the congregation. What sustained them was not comfort, but cordiality, humility, and zeal. The second point for our reflection today: Mermier, the rock of community. When Father Mermier returned from Rome to La Follette in 1843, one of his confreres greeted him: Father and friend, founder and master, leader and model, you are the rock of our community. This was not flattery. It showed that Mermier was not just the founder, but the soul of community life. His zeal animated and united his confreres. For him, community was not inward looking, it was always missionary, meant to give strength for preaching, missions, and retreats. The third point for our reflection today is across oceans, community through letters. When missionaries went to India, they often felt isolated, sometimes for months. No letters reached them from Europe. One wrote to Mermier: Monsieur le Superior, we still haven't received a letter from Europe since our departure. When you write to us, please give us news of our blessed congregation. Even across distance, Mermier insisted that letters and communication kept community alive. To write was to say, you are not forgotten, we belong to each other. Community, therefore, was stronger than geography. It was about spiritual belonging. The fourth point for our reflection today: we belong not only to God, but to our brothers. One of Mermier's most striking statements is this: we belong not only to God, but to our brothers. We are members of one another in community. This is radical. Many think holiness is only about God and me. But Mermier reminds us, to belong to God is also to belong to my brothers and sisters. Community is therefore theologically necessary. It reflects the very prayer of Jesus, that they may be one as we are one. The fifth point for our reflection today: the strength of unity. Father Martin once wrote to him, we are strong because we are united. This union of hearts is a great grace. Unity was not optional, it was their source of strength. Without unity, zeal would collapse. With unity, even a handful of missionaries could touch nations. But Mermier warned against attitudes that destroy community. Bad temper, sadness, a certain bitterness of heart could be called the eighth capital sin. So hurtful is it for ourselves and for those with whom we live. Communities do not usually collapse because of scandals, but because of uncharitable words, resentments, and coldness of heart. The sixth point for our reflection today: humility, knowing our weaknesses. Mermier was practical. He said, the greatest evil in communities and in individuals is not that of having defects, but that of being unaware of them. The problem is not weaknesses, it is blindness to weakness. Community life flourishes when members are humble enough to see their faults and patient enough to bear one another's faults. For this reason, Mermier insisted that every community must have a rule not to suffocate but to protect harmony and peace. The seventh point for our reflection today: the spirit of brotherhood. Mermier's dream of community was simple yet profound. Community is where the religious spirit should reign, where all the members are so many brothers, where we tend towards the same goal, where perfect harmony reigns, where the prayer of the divine Savior is accomplished. That they may be one like us. Here he points to the Trinity as the model: unity in diversity, communion without confusion, love without division. The eighth point for our reflection today is firmness with kindness. When guiding the Sisters of the Cross of Shavanod, he gave balanced advice. He told their foundress, we must be firm but reasonable, and firmness must be tempered with kindness. A community cannot survive on strictness alone, nor on leniency alone. Leadership is the art of balancing truth with charity. The ninth point for our reflection today: respect for all members. Mermier deeply valued the brothers of the congregation, even when some were poorly educated. He praised their piety, their fidelity, and their love of work. He showed them respectful affection, patience, and kindness, treating each one with dignity. For him, every member had worth. Community was not about equality of talents, but about unity of hearts. The 10th point for our reflection today: the four great precepts of charity. In 1848, Mermier gave four simple rules for community life: esteem one another, respect one another, love one another, assist one another. And he added, bear with one another in such a way that no one may ever perceive the least difference among you. Imagine if every religious house lived by these four principles, what joy and witness it would radiate. 11th point for our reflection today: distance cannot break community. From India, Mermier reminded his missionaries, distance has not destroyed this love. It admits neither separation nor division. True community is stronger than oceans. Charity bridges distance and sustains communion. And he reminded them how happy you are and contented in the observance of your holy rules, which are our link, our focus, our direction. The rule of life for Mermier was not a burden but the bond of unity. The 12th point for our reflection today: community, a school of joy. Mermier described community life lived well as the common and individual happiness of those who live under the sweet yoke of the rule, persevering the interior joy and confidence which produce harmony and tender cordiality between them. Community was meant to be a school of joy, harmony, and cordiality. To conclude, a prayer for our communities. My dear friends, if we summarize Father Mermier's vision of community, we find 5 lessons for today. Community is missionary. It gives strength for the apostolate. Unity is power. Division weakens, unity strengthens. Charity is the foundation. Esteem, respect, love, and support are the pillars. Rules safeguard harmony. They are not chains but guides. Community is joy. It is meant to radiate harmony and brotherhood. Let us take to heart his advice. Remain perfectly united, always showing a warm and cordial regard for one another, like brothers who love each other, seeking nothing but the glory of God and the salvation of souls. May our communities today become places of joy, harmony, and missionary zeal. May they reflect the unity of the Trinity. And may we never forget Father Mermier's words. We belong not only to God, but to our brothers. Live Jesus.